Hi there, and welcome back to this psychosexual series discussing the dangers of dating elder men, men of an advanced age. And today I'm going to be touching a lot on relationship dynamics. But firstly, I just want to stop and can we question the noticeable absence of any female peer in the life of this elder man? Why is it that no women of their own advanced age relate to them? Why is this? Why can they apparently only relate to young people of the opposite sex, 20, 30, perhaps even 40 years their junior? Do you relate to your parents on most things? No, none of us do. Why? Because there's a vast generational disparity, completely different frames of reference, ideology, etc. So then, why does a man the age of your parents, perhaps even older, apparently relate to you? It's just indicative of either a regressive mentality on his part and or proof that you are simply being humoured. The ultimate motivation behind his advances on you being sexual objectification and fetishism. Women of his peerage are emotionally developed, something that can only come from experience and years of emotional development. And naturally, they have more self respect, more self worth than to be dealing with his bullshit. And I'm talking sexual depravity, emotional manipulation, abuse, or regressive mentality and cognitive functioning, of which you, as a young female with your own issues and instabilities, are not equipped to be fucking dealing with. In several cases that I have experienced very closely, that I've been able to observe, the young women involved with the elder men were engaging in extreme sexual activity from the very infancy of the relationship with said elder man. I'm talking domination, humiliation, hardcore sex acts, degradation, being referred to as bitch, a whore, slut during sex, being propositioned with the statement, I'd like to lick your asshole, but I may need mouthwash afterwards. I mean, if you're going to be entering a relationship with a man who's around your father's age, who's coming out with something like that, there's fundamentally something wrong with you. You have issues that you need to resolve, issues that this elder man is aware of and he is being exploitative of. Ergo, predator. Red flag, predator. Anyway, lastly, taking video and photographic evidence whilst engaging in these lewd sex acts with young females in question. Okay, so I want to stop again to consider a female peer in his life. Like, how would they react in this situation? Let's say 40, 60, we'll go medium, we'll say 50. A woman of 50 years of age, how would they respond to such depravity? I mean, in most cases, it just would not be tolerated, would it? And this is why they are not relating to their female peers. It's their aggressive sexuality and a complete loss of control in the power play. So, who make the ideal targets for them to exercise their power play and satiate their aggressive sexual appetite? It's young females, emotionally vulnerable young females, inexperienced young females. I'm talking just legal, 18, 19, and in your 20s. It's just that very sensitive period between your formative years and becoming a young adult. Okay, so a fundamental cornerstone of a healthy relationship dynamic is bilateral growth and prosperity. You are presumably in a relationship with a man of your father's age, even your grandfather's age, because you could not function in a relationship with your peers. I mean, there's a pattern there, and it's indicative of issues on your part. Issues that are latent or you simply did not wish to address, perhaps through youthful naivety and stubbornness, just a will to defy people and prove people wrong, that you're in charge of your own life, you're responsible for your own reasoning, and you know what you're doing. And unfortunately, this can cloud your judgment as a young person, as I am well aware of. But yeah, an unwillingness to resolve these issues or even address them is basically presenting all of these relationships with your peers with an unstable foundation from the very beginning. It's an unstable foundation from which you're not going to really be able to build upon, and this is vital to a healthy relationship dynamic, a healthy relationship with longevity. So yeah, please consider this. If you are unable to provide emotional growth to boys or young men of your peerage, then you are certainly not going to be able to provide that growth to a man in his 50s or 60s who has experienced everything that you haven't. And at this point in his life, he really doesn't need any emotional growth from you. This is not what he's interested in. This is not what he wants from being with you. He's already highly developed emotionally, so he doesn't need that from you, and he knows he's not going to get it. He knows you don't have the capacity to give it to him because he knows that you have fucking issues of which he is exploiting. And yeah, I'm yet to even address the fact that this guy's already prospered in his life, socially, vocationally, monetarily. He's now entering his twilight years and his career end, whilst yours is presumably beginning. This already creates a huge imbalance within the relationship dynamic from the very beginning. Likewise, he knows he is not going to be the recipient of any emotional growth from you, as you are inexperienced, you're a naive young person with your own vulnerabilities and emotional insecurities. The relationship will function simply on his validation of you, his enablism, and you are not going to develop emotionally or address your unresolved issues as a result. Um, your frames of reference are so different to that of his. To be engaging with you on matters that are only relevant to a teenager or a 20-something female, he's either mentally regressive, of which you are not equipped with dealing with, as I've already mentioned, or the more likely he's a fully conscious, immoral, meaning he knows right, he knows wrong, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's immoral, not amoral. Individual who is simply exploiting you by humoring you and pretending to relate to you and who you are as a person, which he does not. You know, he'll definitely put emphasis on the fact that he gets you, he understands you. Do you feel that he's the only one that understands you? It's more likely that he simply understands how to manipulate you. So, for example, a young female I knew who was being advanced upon by a predator was propositioned with the I, like to lick your asshole, but I may need mouthwash comment. I may need mouthwash afterwards. This happened in a workplace environment during the weeks in which he was grooming and working on her by overstimulating her with attention and validation. And as I've already mentioned, for anybody to desire a relationship with a man older than your parents who talks in such a way, you've got serious issues. And yes, in this case, she did enter a relationship with this creep predator. Unfortunately, if you can't see it, you just can't see it. You can't see it that it's happening to you. Tactics that you would expect to work on either a child or somebody who is emotionally extremely vulnerable. In this case, she was. To be exploiting a young female in that position, it's just nothing short of disgusting. By the way, he actually compared her to his dead girlfriend. He said one day that you remind me of my dead girlfriend. Now, if you're not going to see that as a red flag and instantly run as far away as possible, and then again, you have severe psychological issues and presumably a predisposition to receive validation. You want and you need some form of validation. This man's sexual depravity and language is regressive for a man of his age. We're saying the mouthwash thing. It just, he clearly has issues. The guy has issues. He's in his 60s and he's saying something like that, even if he's in his 40s or 50s, you know. And you are not equipped to be dealing with those issues. And he knows if he propositions a woman of his peerage by talking like this, he'll get a slap. The dude's gonna get a slap, and he knows this. That's why he's targeting young women. And yeah, this is why he can only relate to young females. You are not special. He has a history of targeting other females, guaranteed. They hone their skills. It is entirely motivated by lust, objectification, and sexual fetishism, age fetishism, basically, power play, dominance. But also women who feel like it don't represent them. And you may be asking, well, why so much focus on elder men? Can you not be manipulated and abused by boys and young men of your peerage? And the answer is yes, but unfortunately, there's nothing I can do to anticipate whether or not a 21-year-old male who bought you a present is liable to be abusive if you enter a relationship with him. Though statistically, it is less likely to happen, as these young men are also inexperienced just as you are, and oftentimes they just simply do not possess the capacity to manipulate with such efficiency. For example, if you're 21 and let's say a 22-year-old, 23-year-old male buys you a gift, this is a natural part of courtship amongst your peers, and it shouldn't necessarily raise any red flags, not particularly. But to be the recipient of a gift from a male twice at that age, or perhaps even thrice that age, that is unnatural. It's unnaturally occurring within our social structure, structures of which exist for a reason. And remember, young men show interest in the hope that a relationship will naturally develop intrinsically. Yet elder men have to unnaturally force a relationship of this nature to occur. To do this, there are always tactics involved, manipulation, love bombing, overstimulation of the senses, validation, and it's games, basically. These are all games, and games do not create a stable foundation for any relationship with longevity and healthy dynamics. A relationship is not a game. People are not a fucking game. You don't use tactics, you don't use manipulation on people. Everything I'm saying to you right now is red flag, red flag, red flag, predatory. But whatever issues you may or may not have can be resolved by working on them or seeking professional psychotherapy. I mean, you'll develop into a strong, independent, and emotionally stable young adult responsible for yourself and your own happiness from within, without this predatory elder man unnaturally altering the course of your development during such a delicate period in your life between your formative years and your early adulthood. Thanks for watching, and just be careful. Bye.